Okay, we're on.
Woohoo.
Hello, Sophie.
Hello, Tinie. Hi.
Welcome to the Tarot Girls Talk
Thank you.
of
Happy to
today.
be one of the tarot girls.
Yes, I'm so happy that you are the tarot girl in front of me right now. It's been so amazing to actually reconnect, right? Since that free reading Friday, I'm very grateful for that. So the idea is that we will talk some cards, and I will do a little tarot reading for Sophie. And yeah, so let's see what happens.
Well, Tinie, I haven't actually got a tarot deck in my hand, and this is what I wanted to ask you. What so when you get, because I've got a few decks and some of them are new, and I find that sometimes I'm drawn to working with one, sometimes not, and I feel a bit guilty sometimes because I might get another new deck when I haven't fully explored the last new deck.
Right.
So it feels a bit indulgent and greedy because I feel like, oh, I haven't really connected with that deck, and I've just gone ahead and bought another deck. So I guess my question is, like, what made you reach for the decks that you did?
The ones that
you've
I have right now?
the
Well, I
decks
have
that
three
you've
decks
right now.
right here now. And
Sorry?
the reason why they are here is that, like, the one is like my baby. This has been my friend for a couple of years now, I think.
And what deck is
Because
that?
of the artwork is so beautiful, and I fell in love with them. I actually saw pictures of this in some really random tarot for beginners book, and I just, like, these pictures struck me, and I did some research, like, what are these? And it's the crystal
Okay.
the artwork of that Italian painter.
Yeah.
Like Trevisan, some Elisabeth Trevisan made the paintings for this one. So, and this one has really served me so well so far. Really beautiful cards. And then the other one is one I just recently got into my collection. And this is a Dreaming Way one. We've done some readings with this, with the more like medieval.
Is that kind of more of a traditional style deck?
Well, it's very close to the Raider White idea of, like, it has little stories in it, also in the Arcana Minor. But it's still original, though. Like, I was laughing earlier, I did a reading and I saw the Pope, and I was thinking
of man, that Pope. It's about the Hierophant. I've got some real issues with the Hierophant, but then I think I need to work more on that and with him, because he really does.
That negativity.
Yeah.
But they do look old and not so joyful, so I have to give that to you.
But I think the Hierophant, probably, I think I'm probably not alone in my, what's that? The Two of Swords night. Oh yeah, that's nice. I love the clear night there. Beautiful stars, starry night.
So it's different still. Like, it has that traditional thing going on, but it still adds a little twist to
clarity of the background. Yeah, very nice.
The artwork.
Yeah.
So this is the Dreaming Way tarot. And then the third one that I chose to work with today is well, we call it the crazy deck.
That looks like the back of an elephant.
I love that.
A tailless elephant.
You see such different things than I do, but it's actually true. Or a hippopotamus.
Yeah.
And actually, it's like with a bullseye in the middle, so you're supposed to throw, or to maybe, like.
Yeah, it's a crazy deck, but bizarrely reads well, as we found out the other day.
Yes, exactly.
I wasn't expecting those results. Yeah.
So shall we pull some cards out and see what happens?
Yeah, let's do it. You know what I'm going to do? First of all, I'm going to use the Robin Hood tarot, the Robin Wood tarot, rather, not Robin Hood. Robin
Is
Wood.
that the one that you wanted me to check out, the Will Worthington one? Is that the one, or is it another one?
No, this is another one. This is the Robin Wood tarot, and I think it was actually by Robin Wood. But I'm looking for the Hierophant, because we spoke about number 5, Major Arcana. We spoke about my problems with this guy. So I'm just going to try and find him, and because I don't think I'm alone in my problems with the Hierophant. I think it's a card that a lot of people have difficulty reading, and I think it's because it's representing that inflexible. There's religion. I think it makes you feel almost like you're like religion is being imposed on you, or belief systems that are being imposed on you. So I think it's natural to want to rebel with that card
kind
somehow.
of aversion against that. Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. Especially like around our parts with the whole Catholic suppression and whatnot, it would make sense. And of course, the Pope, and literally, like they even depict him like one of those like Vatican related guys, right? With the crazy hat, or even an Orthodox Pope, it could be.
Yeah.
So, and yes, so very often the imagery is related to the Christian and Catholic tradition. So it makes sense that that would bring about this kind of feels like, oh, these fucking churches and all that suppression. But I look at it very differently.
Oh, you're never going to be able to see it in that light, are you? Hang on.
Maybe you can just like turn it a little bit to the left or to the right. Yes, that really helps a lot. Oh, he looks like a total, like really rich self. How do you call it? Like self-righteous,
self-made, self-righteous. Yeah,
pompous.
all those words, pompous. They're all really interesting in relation to the Hierophant. I feel like these are the other sort of negative aspects of this card. It's all of those, isn't it? And it's also a bit of a almost like this guy is the more important and deserves a place in eternity or heaven, and whereas you don't. But of course, it can't all be a negative card. There must be positive things related to the Hierophant. This is what I need to work on, because
absolutely. And it is a very, I mean, Jodorowsky hardly even mentions these negative things in the book now. Obviously, when it's upside down, we're supposed to take these negative sides into account. But the Pope, like purely, and this is why I really love the Osho deck so much. By the way, this is the card in the crazy deck,
which I love. I love
right?
that. It's a beacon of light. It's spreading out hope, and it's a positive message. It's something to aspire to, which I guess is the positive. One of the positive meanings of this card is when you're inspired by somebody spiritual, when somebody is leading by example rather than judgment.
Absolutely. Yes. And you see the 5 is also still represented in this card because it's a pentagram radiating all these colors and that beautiful, like peaceful, I would say, energy. And this brings us back to the Pope in the positive sense, I think, where he's like the harmonizer and the one that is completely without judgment. He's like the emptiness, which Osho card literally says, because the number 5 in the Arcana Major in the Osho deck is the nothingness. And I think the best Pope is the one who can reduce himself to nothing and to become like the connection, like the emptiness that connects the different elements somehow, no? Without any judgment, just by being there and holding the space, I think, for these different elements to meet and find each other and harmonize. And I think this is the part of the Pope, to become that bridge, no? The bridge between the different people, different generations, different cultures, different religions even, because the Pope is not supposed to be defending his own story. The Pope is there for the sake of, how to say, for the sake of facilitating different visions and different cultures and points of view to find each other and to kind of see the mutual, like to see the things that you have in common rather than to see the differences.
But then that's making me think more of a pagan style pope, because most popes or men of the church are ultimately preaching one way, one God, one religion.
But that's where it went
Whereas,
wrong, man.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
sad thing. That's where religion went wrong, because if you look at the word religion, purely just like etymologically, religare in Latin means to reconnect, to connect. So religion is just a thing that is there to connect us together as people, as humanity, to find like that mutual like humanity that connects all of us, and then also to connect us to the spiritual, you know, it's about a horizontal and a vertical connection. And that's where the cross also, you know, this is also
yeah.
not random, you know. So
Well, actually, you're making me think of the Hierophant in the Druidcraft Tarot, which is a much more sort of Celtic themed deck, and that is somebody who is almost a alternative priest. But then I guess he's still going to be peddling his own agenda. But then on the other hand, you know, the representation of the Hierophant, the church tradition, rules, structure, discipline. I mean, there's also real positive aspects to all of those things. I mean, it's good to, it frames things. It's what's wrong with being disciplined, what's wrong with having guidelines, and the positive parts of tradition. You know, there's a lot to be said for these things. There's a lot of security in these things. I mean, they're tried and tested methods. You could argue that, well, you know, they've served us well in the past 2,000 years, because we're still going, we're still alive, we're still, you know, so this framework, if you break it down, a lot of the commandments, thou shalt not steal, you know, all the, you know, looking not lying to people, not cheating people, these are not bad values and ideals, are they, for getting on with people. So but
yeah,
it's also about the manipulation. It's like the yeah,
it's what people
sorry,
do
go
with
ahead.
it, right?
Sorry.
It's what people do with it, and the whole
Yes,
perversion.
the man's intervention. That's what I was just going to say. Yeah, the manipulation of it, and I think that's what's to be really important with this card as well. It's like, where are you getting your information from? Who are you aspiring to? Who are you looking up to? Who are you listening to?
Yes, this is very good. I like that. Like in a reading, this could definitely be a question that should be raised when that card emerges. Like, where do you get your rules and your framework, and is it really valid? Does it serve you and your story? I just came
Nice.
I found the Pope in the first in my Trevisan. Like, he looks also kind of stern and.
Well, he does look stern, but he does look. Could you bring it a little bit closer, Tini? Just a tad closer. Yeah, but he looks kinder than the others. He looks a bit more human. He's still been elevated to a position of power, but he just looks a bit more. He looks kinder somehow than the bald guys.
Maybe more relaxed.
Maybe the hair, the facial hair softens him a bit, but
yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't look fat and pompous.
No, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for that, because I feel already a bit happier about that card and a bit more confident to take it in a different direction, or a bit more open-minded as to what some of the interpretations might be in a reading. Sorry, I've just dropped a card. Excuse me.
Then also, like, let's not forget that it's the number 5, huh?
Yes, because I'm not so up with the numerology. I know 5 is like, I see 5 as change, as growth, struggle, but I don't know much about numerology and tarot, I must admit. It's an area I really would like to learn more of.
Well, the number 5, what you say is true. It does have that like growth in a sense. Actually, what you see in the 5 is that the 4 corners of the world, like if there's a square and you have north, east, south, west, right? Then there is a 5th point on top of that. So this is where the pyramid happens. See, like the pyramid of Giza, the Great Pyramid. They have these 4 points on the at the base.
Yeah.
And then there's a top point up. So there you have the 5, and the 5 is about the focal point to be up. And that's where the observing comes in, like the eagle that is hovering and that is looking at what's going on down there, no? So it's like this moment of zooming out to see what really is happening, to stay out of your own drama and to see the bigger picture, and from that bigger picture to really get to be able to make sense of what's going on and to have some healthy judgment, or even just no judgment at all, to see that there's so many ways and so many angles and perspectives that just to observe this, basically, you know.
Yeah, that's a really nice way to look at fives. I think it's interesting what you say about, I remember watching, I can't remember who it was, because I would like to credit people if I can, to remember their work, but I can't remember I can remember what she looks like, but I can't remember her name. But there's somebody in the tarot community who did some sort of free workshop, and she spoke about experimenting with actually just playing about with the numbers. So in other words, not writing five. So let's take 5 for an example. Not writing the number 5, but actually doing like 5 dots and just putting them in different formations, and joining up lines and messing about with them and just seeing how 5 feels as a illustration. And that really reminded me of your description of the pyramid, the dot at the top. So I was thinking that would be quite, you could play it out like that if you're doing that exercise, and see how it's quite an interesting exercise to do that with the numbers, and just doodle, basically just doodle and freestyle and get very intuitive.
Actually, if you want, we can do a little the story of numbers in one of our sessions.
Yeah,
it's really interesting, and it's not, I mean, it's like from 0 to 9, so it's like not that long, really.
Why is 10 not included?
Well, because 10 is not a real number. I mean, it is a number, obviously, but it's a one and a 0. So we've already been there, kind of, you know? So it's like 10 is the next level of a new cycle. Like it's the beginning of a new cycle. It depends also from different cultures have different takes. Like the 10 in some places, I'm not sure where, honestly, but the 10 is also often related to like magnificence, the divine, a lot, you know. The moment they say 10, it's kind of like it's a lot, you know. So it's like greatness and all that. But just like purely watching the numbers and looking at it's a 1 and a 0, it's like a new direction. And there's again all that potential that hasn't been realized yet, you know. So basically.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love to do that. That interests me. Learning so much more. Learning about tarot always interests me. I'd also really like to get into the astrology side of tarot more as well.
Yes.
I mean, it's so fascinating. It's such a fascinating subject, tarot. I mean, you can just take it in so many directions, can't you? We're never going to run out of things to talk about, Tini. In fact, our problem is going to be not boring the pants off everybody. So shall we just pull a card to move things on? And just you know, the card slinger.
Falling out, Sophie.
I've just literally slung about 20 cards across the room.
I think this card needed to be seen.
Strength.
It's a strength, yes. How interesting. Girl power.
Oh yeah, it's all about girl power, strength, isn't it? The feminine quality of strength.
Yes, I feel that's how I feel. It's also, I like this this little tagline, mind over matter. Kind of like, no matter what desires are like, you know, trying to pull me in whatever direction, I know what's best for me, and I have the strength to really make that healthy decision now for me, you know. This is also strength for me. Like,
can I see the card again? Can we see it?
Because she's guiding the lion and not the other way around. So it's like I have all that crazy sexuality and creativity and mad fire raging inside of me, but I know how to externalize that in like very precise and healthy ways, which serves me and everybody else.
I'm just looking for the strength card in the
I
keep want to call it the Robin Hood Tarot. It's the Robin Woods Tarot.
Robin Wood.
But yeah, the strength card is, but it's also one of those cards that sometimes when it comes up in a reading, I feel that it is what it is. It's one of the cards that a lot of people who are not familiar with tarot can understand immediately, because it's somehow like you can go deep into it, but it's like strength. Yeah, there you go. Done, dusted, strength.
Yes,
but of course there's different types of strength. There's a strength associated with males, of more physical strength, of more literally being able to carry more and lift more and cope with more. And then there's the female strength, which of course is what this card is really about, which is much more internalized, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm also thinking like strength of character,
Yeah.
have like a strong character, to have discipline in a way, also more like endurance. I never gave birth, but like I can imagine.
Stamina, endurance, they're all good, and a quality of intellect to be able to recognize and know yourself and less favorable or less helpful aspects of your personality or character or feelings about a situation, and being able to be able to understand what they are, why they're there, but not erupt with them, keep them under control.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm just trying to find the strength card.
In this deck, the strength is number 8.
Yeah, and that's also the same with most of the decks I work with. It's number 8. I don't think I own a deck where it's number 11.
Funny. Yeah, most of all the experience I have so far was with strength being the number 11.
Yeah.
Somehow I think it makes more sense to have 8 be the justice, but okay, Wow, this is a big lion.
It's a big beast. It's a big beast to tame.
Yes, but she looks so lovely.
I think in this card, could you hold your card up as well? Because it is really great in comparing the two cards as well. So your card, I think, more conveys a sense of inner I say strength, and that's what I mean. It's so easy to describe just what it is. It is what it is. Inner work, like she's concentration. Yes. Your card is showing more really the focus and concentration that is required to
meditation, contemplation,
and to keep the strength, the work that's, it's not easy. I think your one is showing, whereas I feel like the card I'm holding up kind of shows a more gentle quality, almost that. And with that, I'm getting a different message in a way, which is that sometimes a gentle approach is no less strong.
Absolutely, yes, this is so true.
And that's so beautiful, and that's another thing that this is why it's so easy to collect decks, because each representation of the card give you a slightly different angle or another layer,
and that's so fun to discover,
and expensive.
It never ends, Sophie. It never ends, and there's so many. Oh my god!
I think I better show some of this and stop browsing for decks. Take my inner impulses to buy every damn tarot deck that I see.
Don't let the lightning ride you, Sophie. You ride the lightning.
So would you be up for doing a little reading for me, Teenie?
Of course, yes.
That would be wonderful.
Which deck would you prefer to work with?
No, I'm totally happy for you to pick the deck. What I would really like to know is, obviously I'm going to be going back to work in a couple of days, and thinking of the theme of strength. That's something that I'm probably going to definitely need to.
The strength, and she just came out.
Yes, I'm definitely going to be needing some of that. But I suppose what I really want to ask you and the tarot is, how can I best cope with the next few weeks of work? Because I'm expecting, maybe that's the problem, I'm expecting it to be, perhaps I need to just let go of the expectations, but obviously being realistic, working in healthcare, it's at the moment, I don't think it's that pessimistic to think that things will be difficult. So I suppose I want to know, how can I best navigate this? How can I best navigate, is that the right question? How can I best manage
Yes,
the
it
next
makes it
few
very,
weeks at
very
work.
well. I was thinking to how do you navigate? So what energy you need to integrate to kind of like deal with this whole
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I see the Six of Cups here,
Mm-hmm.
but it's reversed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure, like Six of Cups to me is like all about like emotion, connection. Maybe it means that to not get too personal and to
Mm-hmm.
not let your personal emotions get the get ahead of you, or how you say this in English, like
Yeah, to
to own
get the
it,
best of
you
you.
know,
To yeah. To, mm-hmm.
to not have your emotions to control you, but rather
Mm-hmm.
to be in control of your emotions, which doesn't mean to suppress them per se, but more like to observe them and to not have them take over.
Mm-hmm.
I will show you the card also, because this is like it's love, right? Because the six is related to the connection. The lover is also in the Arcana Major, but here it's cups and it's the heart. So
Well, that's a very interesting interpretation and card indeed of the Six of Cups.
mhm.
Yeah,
He's juggling a lot of cups on
yeah.
top of his head, on his leg.
And
So
he is he? Do you think he's like doing that for the attention of the other character? Does he look like he's kind of? He's you know, like kids do in a way, or he almost looks like he's. Do you think he's doing that to capture the attention of the other child?
I think it's very much about impressing her.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But
my like my
yeah,
first.
that's what I mean. So how can I'm just because I've noticed that I feel like that's relevant. But how could I make this relevant?
Absolutely. I think you don't need to prove or impress anybody. You don't need to be better or stronger or something else than who you are. You can just, be your vulnerable self and maybe drop a cup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I also like the fact there's two people on that card, so I do get a sense with the Six of Cups. I don't ever get a sense of loneliness with the Six of Cups. I always get a sense
No,
of
it's all about connection,
an emotional support.
friendship.
Yeah,
Yes.
great.
So there is for sure. I mean, and I hear how well you work with your team and how you feel supported by them. So there's definitely that.
So
But then to not try and put flower, and we say this in Dutch actually, to flower something up, to make it look better than it actually is, to smile and make jokes to hide that you're actually hurt. I mean, you still can, but it's unnecessary. I mean, the tarot is like, don't tire yourself doing this.
yeah.
If this is becoming like an extra layer of stress, it's not beneficial.
Would you like to see the Six of Cups in the Robin Hood tarot?
Ah, yes, I'd love to. Uh-huh. Are those kids? They look very like childlike.
Yeah, I think they are both kids. I'll have a look in a minute, but it's kind of
Mhm.
that's more of a sort of fairly typical representation of it, I suppose.
Yes, with the cups also on the ground with the flowers.
And the act of
Very
giving.
similar also, but there's not that juggling going on. He's more like relaxed and steady.
Yes, and I think that's really relevant, that juggling that you're picking up on that card, that juggling of, yeah, I kind of get a sense of needing of there's probably going to be, you're going to be juggling a lot of emotions.
But you know what was so interesting earlier? I had a reading with somebody else, and there was a card with also a cup card, and she had the coffee pot on her head, also kind of like balancing. And I asked the person like, "So what do you see?" And he answers, "I see somebody very vulnerable, who has a hard time balancing the elements in their life. No, like this pot on her head is about to topple off." And I really like that vulnerability aspect, because I
Yeah,
think he's also, and this is the beauty
yeah,
of the juggling, no, like the juggling
yeah,
is a big show, he's asking her attention, but at the same time he's showing how vulnerable he is, and
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah, for
kind of
sure.
kind of sweet also, no.
Yeah. So basically, to summarize your advice, what would your advice be to summarize? So just to remind you, the question was,
Yes, how
how
to
can we best,
navigate
yeah,
the work that is coming up soon. My advice would be to stay very close to yourself and to not juggle when it's getting tiresome and asking too much of your, I mean, even more of your energy. Like to put your energy in the work and in the self sustaining part of it, and to be okay with that vulnerability, you know, and to trust that being vulnerable is absolutely okay, and that you have the good you're in a good environment to be vulnerable,
mm,
because there's that team that is there for you, and there is a good connection. This is what I see in this card.
thank you, dear. That's good to remember. Yeah, draw on the
Mhm.
team strengths, keep open, keep honest. Remember that you're human and it's all right to be vulnerable,
Yes.
and not to try and juggle too much.
Yes, because there's nothing to prove also. I think that was also an
Yeah,
interesting thing that came
yeah,
up.
totally. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was gonna put another card to see what resource, like what your tools and resources are, and what you should focus on also
Yeah, of course. Yeah, go for it.
for getting there. And this is again a cup card. It's a Two of Cups, and also reversed. So probably I see. I mean, this is about two people getting really like good vibes together. No, like a
Yeah.
mutual success. But what would it mean if it's reversed, though?
I mean, I tend not to read reverse cards, not I because I like to look at a card and feel into whether I believe it's the
Mhm.
reversed or shadow aspect of the card that's coming into play, or the upright. So I
Mhm.
tend to avoid reversals. I deliberately shuffle my deck to not have them.
I
Um,
I did the same
but
thing before, but it's still fascinating though when they do come out
yeah,
reversed, right? It's just
and I'm
interesting to
totally open. One day I'd like to.
and what
Sorry,
it
go on.
does, like how
Yeah,
it resonates. And you know what, Sophie?
yeah,
This is kind of my way of looking at it. I
yeah,
saw a reversed cup card once for me,
yeah,
but it was in the crazy deck. But look what happens when the cups are reversed, you know, the whole content pours out.
yeah,
It's kind of like emptying the cup, right?
yeah.
With two
Interesting.
people. So maybe
Yeah,
you're something that is really a skill of yours is that it comes easy to you to share whatever is in your heart, you know, and to just be to let it out, you know, to pour it all out. And I think maybe at work you have a confidant or somebody that you really trust.
oh, my poor colleagues.
And that
But yeah, no, yeah, yeah,
that you but you need that, and I think when you do that for that other person at the same time, it goes both ways, no, you having that person to lean on and to really like share and kind of vent gives that person the perfect how you say, like the permission to do the same, and
she's an incredible person.
you will probably also need it, no, to vent once in a while.
Yeah. Oh,
So
she's
maybe
absolutely
that's it.
incredible, the person that I'm thinking of. But I mean, like, I'm really lucky with my whole team. But yeah, there is definitely somebody who is so wonderfully easy to talk to and trustworthy, and yeah, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there, this is like a gift.
Well, it's interesting how they're both with the suits of the cups and emotions, because that's obviously
Mhm.
where I'm going to be challenged.
Yes.
So yeah,
Mhm.
so it's good to bear in mind. So thank you very much. That was very
Oh, you're
useful and
super
insightful.
welcome.
Yeah,
I'm happy that these cards came out because they're
yeah,
like so
yeah.
nice
Me too.
and accurate.
I'd like to see it's good, it's a good challenge when a really challenging card comes up in those positions, isn't it? Do you remember that recently you did a pull a card for me, and it was like something I was really positive about, a future step, and it was the Tower, wasn't it? And I think you handled that beautifully. Yeah,
Just earlier, I had a very similar thing with the Eight of Wands coming out, and I was also like, I'm not so sure because it was like about some future project, but it was actually once we really went down to it and we got to the point, it was super accurate. You know, this is the thing, like the cards never lie. We might not understand them, but they don't lie.
I was just rummaging around for the Two of Cups there. But I think, are we going to wrap it up now? Do you think we're boring? We're starting to get boring.
Yeah, it's true. We can go on forever, right? Yeah, it's cool. Like we can maybe, what were you going to show me? The Two of Cups? That would be cool though, to see the other one. Ah, wow. Oof. Yes. It looks much more like a blissful experience now. And reversed, yeah. Well, still, if it's reversed, you have that thing, the whole thing with the snake, the helix coming out, yeah? So it's also something...
Yeah, it looks pretty sort of divine reversed,
Yes,
this card.
very.
It's still, and even though it's reversed, there's still very much that unity. There's still very much that
very bright,
that power in being together. Yeah, power of cooperation. Yeah. All right, Tini, thanks so much. I've really enjoyed it. It's wonderful, and it'd be really great to pull cards at some point together. I'd love that.
Yes. I have to sometimes hold myself to just give you the space to finish your sentence.
That's because we're both fire signs there, charging in.
Okay, Sophie, have a great day.
Yeah.
And good to see you.
Guys.
See you soon. So Tuesday, next meeting.
All right,
Sophie. Thank you so
bye-bye.
much. And I'll
Bye.
see you
Me
soon.
too. Bye, Dave.
Ciao.
Bye.
I feel the constant evolution.